The Last of Us, Episode 3. It is some of the most beautiful, heartfelt, emotional storytelling we've seen on television in quite some time. Just like my previous two episodes, I will be doing a spoiler-free review of the episode and then a spoiler-filled discussion. What a heartfelt episode. That was just some of the most emotional character development I have seen in quite some time. This is easily the saddest episode so far and probably the best episode so far. This is just over an hour long and it is some really fast escalating storytelling. We're getting some really believable banter and chemistry between Joel and Ellie now, which is great. The writing and the performances are still continuing to be top quality. And again, even more incredible world building. There's some real in-depth character development with the side characters in this episode, to the point where Joel and Ellie, our main characters, are kind of pushed to the side for this episode. They are still in the episode, but the episode definitely focuses a lot more on the side characters in this one. It is an unexpected but welcome change due to the incredible performances, heartfelt writing, and fantastic character chemistry. And it all ties in with the main story perfectly. They don't just pull these side characters out of left field, and none of it feels unwelcome at all. This is easily the most moving and emotional performance I have seen from Nick Offerman. I've seen him in a few other things, and I think he's an incredible actor. He usually plays like a tougher and like an emotionless kind of character, but yeah, this is a very hard-hitting, emotional performance from him. There's some fun doomsday prepping in this episode. We get to see this apocalypse version of the world from someone who was ready for it from the get-go. This episode is by far the saddest episode so far. I watched this with my fiance and we both cried. Like, just tears rolling out. Like, oh, I'm gonna go into it more in the discussion. I don't want to spoil any of it here, but get your tissues ready for this one. We've got some more perfected line-for-line reenactments between Joel and Ellie. Literally seeing these lines come out of these versions of the characters, and it just fits in so perfectly into these scenes. I was like, literally, I was doing the Leonardo DiCaprio point at the screen, being like, whoa, there it is. Like, it was great. I have loved every single line-for-line reenactment so far, and every time they pop up, I just fully fanboy out, and it's amazing. They really swapped out the action and horror from this part of the game for character development and emotional storytelling. We do get to spend just way more time with the characters and just how they're dealing with love and loss and just experiencing this world together, over them just trying to kill a heap of infected or people. There is a dramatically different character choice in this episode compared to the game, which does sacrifice a certain part of the game that a few players probably really enjoyed. So I'm not sure if that's going to annoy people or not. Personally, myself, with the way this episode was written and with the character choices that were made, I think the sacrifice is justified, and I'm completely on board with it. But some people may be disappointed that certain characters didn't get to do certain things with other characters. Overall, this episode hit so hard and I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. This is some of the best writing and the best performances we have seen in the show so far. It's incredible. I honestly, I don't know how this show just keeps on outdoing itself every episode, and I cannot wait to see what is in store for us moving forward. In case you haven't seen my first two videos, or you kind of skipped the intro to this video, heavy spoilers moving forward. I'm going to spoil literally the entire episode and talking about all the things I loved about the episode. So if you haven't seen it, maybe don't watch this part. That's your warning. Joel loses his machine gun. Thank God. I said that in the previous episode. I was like, please, I hope he gets rid of it. I can't believe he has a machine gun already. He literally loses it immediately because he ain't got no ammo for it. And I'm like, yes, amazing. That means he's going to get the shotgun. I'm not sure if he got the shotty or not. I didn't see him like directly pick it up or anything, but you know, he had a lot of weapons to choose from, so he very well could have it in the next episode. Frank is an actual character, and he's incredible. I am so happy with this change from the game. He's just a dead man that has killed himself in the game. It's some depressing shock value for sure, but yeah, we get to spend an entire episode with Bill and Frank, and oh boy, it was adorable. Bill and Frank, opposites attract, right? Like, these guys are literally the exact opposite of each other, yet they are so in love with each other by the end of the episode, and it's so cute, and it's so believable. I mean, when they met, it escalated very quickly, but by all the time jumps and we get to the end, and we've only spent an hour with these guys, their relationship is so heartfelt and believable, and so nice to see this little life that these two men have made together. And it's beautiful. I love Frank and Tessa's little friendship. I think it's really cute. I know we only get a little short scene of it, but it's just super cute that those two get along so well. And then Joel and Bill are just so sus of each other. These two kind of macho men are just eyeing each other off like, yeah, I don't trust you, but Bill and Joel just get along through respect for each other. I love Bill and Frank's appreciation of each other. It felt like from the get-go, Frank absolutely appreciated Bill from when he made him dinner. It just felt like Bill obviously took a little longer to lower his guard around Frank, and the scene with the strawberries and stuff was just, it was just such a cute little scene. It just makes what happens in the end of the episode hit so much harder when you know how much they appreciate and love each other. Speaking of which, oh man, I was crying so hard by the end. That scene where Frank tells Bill this is going to be his last day and tells him what he wants to do on his last day, and then tells Bill that he wants Bill to kill him at the end of the day, and just seeing Bill's reaction, and oh man, it hit so hard. It was so sad, but Frank couldn't live any longer, and Bill couldn't live without Frank, so having the two of them die together was so romantically poetic. But my God, it hits so hard. The unexpected emotional character development that is swapped out for the action and the horror, because this part of the game is insanely action-packed, and you spend all this time with Bill killing all these infected, and none of that is in this episode. It is just character development between Bill and Frank, and then by the time Joel and Ellie get there, they're dead, so we don't get any of that action. We get a very brief action scene of Bill killing some humans, and that's about it. It's definitely a change of pace. I say we've got two of the first real storytelling differs from the game, with one, Frank being an actual person who's alive and we get to spend some time with him, and two, that Bill and Ellie don't get to meet, and we don't get any of that aggressively honest banter between the two of them. And that is hilarious in the game, absolutely. It comes at a point in the game where it is very dark and low and depressing, and then we get this hilarious banter between these characters that just can't stand each other, and it is nice. It is a nice little break. And then, yeah, we don't get any of that in the show, but instead, I guess we get a romantic break between Bill and Frank from the depression of this show, instead of a comical break between Bill and Ellie. So, yeah, we got Frank and Bill instead of Bill and Ellie. And I'm 100% all good with that swap out. There might be some people that aren't. There might be some people that really enjoyed their banter, and this might be their least favorite episode just because it differs so much from the source material. And if you're wanting a reenactment scene for scene from the game, there are some huge differences in this episode. For people who are watching the show for the first time and haven't played the game and are planning on playing the game afterwards, you are in for a completely different Bill. You're in for a Bill that is so much grumpier, so much more aggressive, and just way more angry than the Bill we got in the show. Yes, he's still pretty grumpy and pretty tough in the show, but he's got that love and that emotion, and he doesn't really seem to have that in the game. It's more implied than anything. So if you are planning on doing the play after the watch, yeah, good luck with that, because you're in for a very different sequence here. There is zero romance in the game in a episode that is full of it. So yeah, just a heads up, I guess. Overall, this is definitely the most thought-provoking, emotional, and heartfelt episode so far. It has literally stayed in my brain since watching it. I cannot stop thinking about it. It was so well acted and written, and I cannot wait to see what else the show has to offer when it comes to making dramatically different changes like this, but improving on characters and just making us care and feel things for these characters that just show up for a level in the game, but they hit us so hard and just straight to the core in the show. So yeah, top quality storytelling, and bring on the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, feel free to comment below. If you're one of those people who is annoyed that it has changed from the source material, I'd like to know that below too. You know, everyone's got their opinion. Is this the best Nick Offerman performance you've seen as well? If you've seen a better performance from him, put that down below too. I would love to check that out. He's an incredible actor. And I'll see you in the next video.